We're going to start class today lying down. So you're going to make your way onto your spine. And when you settle onto the back, I invite you to keep those soles of the feet to the mat and widen those feet to mat distance apart, allowing the knees to fall inwards, gently propping against each other, and coming into constructive rest pose. So this will be a comfortable position for the initial breathing practice that I'll be guiding you through. But for right now, just taking a nice deep breath in and out as you just land here on your back in this present moment. I'm just checking in with, from head to toe, how things are feeling in your body today. Why you might be coming to the mat. Why you might be looking for a yoga for posture practice. Of course, we often think about opening up the front of the chest, the side body, because that allows our breath to flow more easily through the torso. We can also think about strengthening our core as being part of our yoga for posture practice. We're going to be doing a bit of all of that today. Just taking another deep breath in and out here. And then bringing the hands to the belly. And we're going to do a breath practice called the skull shining breath. So it's also a great practice to do when you've been sitting at the desk for a little too long and the head is feeling a bit foggy or groggy. So what it is it's a forceful exhalation. So you're going to engage that core and gently engage it towards the spine in a rapid movement, and a natural inhalation. So you only have to focus on the exhalation. The inhalation happens naturally. So I'm going to show it actually seated, but I invite you to stay lying down. So with those hands on the belly, just begin to contract that abdomen towards the spine. And it's a forceful exhalation through the nose as you do that. That's what it looks and sounds and feels like. Let's take a nice deep breath in and then begin around. Keeping the face relaxed, going at the pace that works for you. Take a deep breath in and slowly exhale. Just taking a few more breaths here. Normal breaths. I'm starting to feel the internal fire a little bit in the abdomen. I'm going to do one more round, taking just another full normal breath here. And then all together, take a deep breath in and begin the exhalation. Take a deep breath in and slowly relax. A few more deep breaths normally in and out through the nose here. Noticing any effects from this breathing practice, whether that's the clearing of the sinuses, whether that's the internal fire or connection to the core that you're feeling, whether that's the mind has become a little bit more clear. And maybe something else entirely different that you're noticing. And that's perfectly fine. On your next inhale, allow yourself to bring both knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a hug, a gentle rock from side to side, giving that lower back a little massage. Slowly coming back to center. Keep the knees in towards the chest. Extend those arms out now from the shoulders. So making a wide wingspan here. Take an inhale, knees stand towards the chest, and on the exhale, let those knees gently fall towards the right. So coming into a reclined spinal twist here for a breath. You might wiggle those hips towards the left edge of the mat to allow the hips to align and the knees and the thighs to align on top of each other as well. Head can stay in line with the spine, or maybe you're looking over towards the left fingertips, bringing this twist into the neck as well. Take another deep breath in and out here. And with your next inhale, drawing the knees and head back in line with the spine. Exhaling as you let the knees fall over towards the left, the opposite side. Making any adjustments here for this reclined spinal twist before maybe taking the gaze over towards those right fingertips. And just taking a deep breath in and out here. With your next inhale, draw the head and knees back in line with the spine. And we're going to once again bring those soles of the feet to the mat. Now they can stay hip distance apart. And we're going to bend at the elbows so that the hands are coming towards the nape of the neck. So you're making little wings on either side of your neck and your head here. And then bring that right knee in towards the chest. And lift that left elbow towards the knee. So a little crunch here. Bring that right sole of the foot back to the mat as you lower the head to the mat. And then opposite side. Let's do that 2 more times to either side. Begin to use that core engagement that we started with, our breathing practice. For the second time to the second side, you can either just keep doing as we've been doing, or there's a couple different variations depending on how much energy and intensity you'd like to bring into your practice. So again, it could just be lifting elbow towards knee as those feet stay to the floor, or maybe you start to extend the leg to the mat as the opposite knee draws in, and then switch extended legs from side to side. Now the next level up would be to let that extended leg hover off the mat as you continue to draw opposite elbow towards knee. Doing 3 more to either side, wherever you are. You got this. Keep that lower back gently pressing towards the floor, navel towards spine. And after the 3rd time to the second side, bring both knees in towards the chest. Wrap those hands around the knees, gently rocking from side to side. Feel free to come back to center and then take the hands to the knees and start to draw some large circles here. So massaging more of the mid-back, the side body, as well as the lower back here. Reversing the direction, going the opposite way a few times. And then coming back to center, extending those legs long to the mat. Because what we're going to do here is gently roll to one side and then roll all the way onto your belly. Just switching around, coming onto the belly, letting those toes untuck, point back behind you. Allow the hands to be under the shoulders, those elbows to draw in towards the side body. And the crown of the head with the forehead pressing to the mat, still lengthening forward. So you're feeling this length from crown of the head to those tippy toes. Let's take an inhale, draw those shoulders up towards the ears, back and down. Starting to feel this engagement between the upper back muscles, which is what we want to use as we come into our baby cobra. So on the next inhale, using this engagement, peeling the chest and forehead off the mat. Keep the gaze at the mat, head in line with the spine. On the exhale, chest and forehead, lower back down. So do that 3 more times at your own breath pace. Inhaling up, however high feels good. As you exhale, gently bringing yourself back down. You got this. 2 more times. And with that exhalation, and you come back to the mat, pressing into hands and knees, and then coming into a child's pose. So I invite you to keep those knees closer together, thighs parallel as you sink the hips towards the heels, forehead to the mat. Taking another breath or 2 here. letting everything relax, including those elbows to soften through the shoulders. On your next inhale, draw yourself forward into your tabletop, and then tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back, coming to your downward dog. Feel free to take a breath here, pedaling through the feet, stretching out the back of the legs. And taking this walking in place movement and bringing those feet in a walk to the top of the mat, to the hands coming into a forward fold. That might be keeping a long spine, arms to the thighs. If there's any back concerns, maybe you're settling into the weight of the upper body, maybe taking hold of opposite elbows even. And wherever you are, feel free to have a bend through those knees. Let the stretch be through the spine. Another full breath here. Bringing those hands to the hips. Remember that core engagement. On the inhale, long spine, hinge yourself up to standing. Reach the arms out, up, and on the exhale, let the hands float to heart center. Take a nice deep breath in and out. Let those arms come back by the sides of the body. Take an inhale, draw those shoulders up, down, and back. A few shoulder rolls here. And let's reverse the direction, going the opposite way. One more circle here. And then we're going to be opening up the front of the chest using either a wall or a door frame, depending on what you have in your space. I'm going to show the door frame version first, since all rooms have door frames, in case the walls are taken up with stuff. If you're using the door frame, bring that hand on the inside of the door frame, out from the shoulders, just like we did lying down. Nice 90-degree angle here. And imagine you're standing in front of a wall, because if you're actually doing the wall version, the wall would be here. And then slowly begin to rotate yourself away from the wall until you feel a nice stretch across the front of the upper arm, shoulder, chest. That might be 45-degree angle from your wall or imaginary wall. That might be looking more like a 90-degree angle. Again, tuning into your body. And if you'd like, you can even take that opposite arm across the lower back, looking for the opposite hip, and start to open up, do a shoulder roll with that shoulder, and open up through that chest as well, or through that part of the chest. Take 2 more deep breaths here. And then on your next inhale, slowly walking yourself back to the wall or imaginary wall, releasing both arms, give them a gentle shake, eagle. And just allow yourself to come to stillness, let the arms hang by the sides of the body, palms might be facing forwards. And let the eyes come closed for a breath as you just notice how things are feeling through the front of the chest. And noticing a little bit more stretch on one side with the arm that was against the wall or the door frame. But maybe still openness across the entire chest more than previously. And then on your next inhale, opening the eyes, and let's do the other side. So I'll show this version with the wall. So you're going to come standing in front of the wall, extend that opposite arm that you haven't done yet out from the shoulder. Hand flat to the wall. And then again, begin to pivot yourself away, however much feels nice here. You can even play with the angle of that arm. So we're dropping it lower, if that feels more comfortable. Just tuning into your body. And again, maybe taking that opposite arm and hand across the lower back towards the opposite hip. And then doing a shoulder roll, starting to open up through the shoulder that's away from the wall. Two more deep breaths here. Staying relaxed through the back body. So through the lower back, the glutes, thighs. And with your next inhale, slowly rotating yourself back towards your wall or imaginary wall, releasing both arms. Give them a gentle shake, wiggle. And once again, coming back into stillness. Arms by the sides of the body, maybe the eyes drop closed. Just noticing how the front of the chest is feeling. On your next inhale, let the eyes flutter open again. And let's come to the top of the mat, feet hip distance apart. Take an inhale, reach the arms out, up. And on the exhale, hinge at those hips, forward fold, bending the knees and now so fingertips come to blocks, to the mat, or you're just staying on fingertips. Let's step the left leg back. And feel free to keep that back knee lifted if you'd like a little bit more intensity in your practice. If you'd like the groundedness that dropping that back knee provides, by all means doing that. When you feel ready, lifting yourself up to standing, hands to the hips for a breath here as we exhale and settle into our foundation. From here on the next inhale, reach those arms up. And then on the exhale, interclasp those thumbs and begin to draw those thumbs towards the nape of the neck. So making those little wings again on either side of the body and pull those elbows apart from each other. So feeling the space beginning to expand between the shoulder blades here. Take another full breath. And then on your next inhale, once more, reach those arms up. Those thumbs can come apart, so arms are parallel with each other. Take another inhale to lengthen. And on the exhale, framing the front foot, we're going to place the weight into that left hand. So if the floor is feeling a little far away, take your block or block alternative. Another cooking pot does a good job if you've been in my class before. Placing the weight into that left hand. On the next inhale, begin to reach those right fingertips up towards the ceiling. So again, that back knee might be lifted. If it is, pressing through that back heel as you think about the crown of the head pressing forward. That gaze might be towards the fingertips. It might be towards the horizon or even the mat if that feels more comfortable. Take another 2 deep breaths here. While you're here, you're still thinking about pressing up through those right fingertips and pressing the mat or your block away through the left hand. One more full breath. Take an inhale, lengthen up through those right fingertips. And on the exhale, return that hand back to the mat. Lift that back knee if it's not already. Sliding the front foot to the back and downward dog. Take an inhale and an exhale. And with your next inhale, shifting your weight forward to plank. Drop knees, chest and forehead coming onto the belly. Those toes untucked. We're coming back into our baby cobra. Hands underneath the shoulders, elbows are towards the side body. And you can choose to do baby cobra as we did with the hands to the mat, or if you'd like to really check that you're using the muscles of the upper back, strengthening the muscles of posture, you can lift those hands as well. So on the next inhale, chest and forehead lift off the mat. Hands might do as well, an inch or two away. On the exhale, everything lowers back down. Let's do 3 more flows at your own pace, whatever version you find yourself comfortable with. And after the 3rd time, when you lower back to the mat, pressing into your hands and knees. And from tabletop, you want you to check in if you'd like to come to your lunge from here. For some bodies, that works better. Shifting the weight to the right, stepping that left foot forward. Or if you're going to join me, coming up and back through downward dog, and then stepping that left foot in between the hands in the way that makes sense for your body. Again, back knee can drop or stay lifted. Find your foundation, and when you feel steady and ready, lifting yourself up to standing, hands to the hips as you exhale, and settle into your foundation. Again, on the next inhale, reach those arms up, interlock those thumbs. So you're making little butterfly hands here. If you've ever done shadow puppets, and then begin to draw those hands, those thumbs towards the nape of the neck here, pressing those shoulders, or pressing those elbows away from each other. Feeling the stretch between the shoulder blades. 2 more deep breaths here. On your next inhale, once more, reach up through both arms, keeping them parallel. On the exhale, framing the front foot. And again, we're going to plant the weight into that right hand this time. So maybe that left comes underneath, lifting the floor up to meet you. On the next inhale, reach those left fingertips up. And again, if you're lifting that back knee, you're going to feel 4 different directions happening here. So reaching up through those left fingertips, pressing the mat away through that right hand, keeping space between shoulder and ear. You're going to be pressing the crown of the head forward, and that back heel, as the knee is lifted, is pressing towards the wall behind you. 2 more deep breaths here. Take another inhale to lengthen. And on the exhale, return that left hand to the mat. Lift that back knee if it's not already. And slide the front foot to the back, downward dog. Take a deep breath in and out here. With your next inhale, allow yourself to shift once more forward to plank. Drop knees, chest, and forehead. Once more, lower it onto the belly. Those toes untucked. Arms are now going to extend by the sides of the body. Fingers pointing in the same direction as those toes towards the back of the room. So allowing this to draw the shoulders away from the ears, forehead to the mat. And on your next inhale, lift the leg, lift the arms, lift the chest and forehead. Coming into locust pose here, pressing everything back to the wall behind you as the crown of the head still stays pressing forward, gazing towards the mat, head in line with the spine. Stay connected to that breath. 3 more deep breaths here, strengthening now not only the upper back, but all of the back muscles. Back body is often a part of the body we forget about. It needs the love and attention and strengthening just as much to help us sit tall for our days at the desk. On your next exhale, slowly lower everything all the way back to the mat. Bring those hands underneath the shoulders, pressing yourself up and back once again to your child's pose. Again, those knees can stay closer together, or if you'd like to also incorporate getting into those hips a bit, widen those knees to mat distance apart, big toes together, and then start to sink those hips towards the heels, forehead to the mat. And if that mat ever feels far away in child's pose, feel free to stack your fists, forehead on top of the fists, or bring your block underneath the forehead as well. If possible, again, allow those elbows to connect with the mat, softening through the shoulders. Let's take 3 deep breaths here. Gently walking those hands underneath the shoulders, vertebra by vertebra, pressing yourself up to seated. Maybe the chin stays in towards the chest for a moment as the shoulders come over the hips to give the back of the neck a gentle stretch. And then with the next inhale, bring that head all the way in line with the spine. If those knees were wider apart, bring them back in line with the hips first before you shift the weight to one side and swing those legs out in front. Now with those legs out in front, extend the left leg. And different variations for our seated spinal twist to finish off our practice. You can keep that right foot on the inside of the extended leg and just draw that foot in towards the body, that knee in towards the body. If you have a bit more flexibility and you'd like to experiment, you can take that right foot on the outside of that extended left leg. Wherever you are, take those right fingertips behind you. Allow yourself to prop nice and tall here. So on those seat bones, sitting nice and tall. And then giving yourself a little hug with that left arm around the right knee, especially if it's on the inside. Or if you cross the legs, you could even see what it's like to take that left elbow on the outside of the right knee. Fingertips might point up, or they might journey towards the right hip. Take an inhale wherever you are, lengthen up through the spine and the crown of the head. And on the exhale, begin in the core. We've cultivated that connection in our practice. And then slowly start to twist yourself towards the right, maybe looking over the right shoulder. And checking in with yourself, how far into this spinal twist you'd like to come. And if you have that elbow against the knee, you can even think about pressing each into each other to give yourself a little extra leverage if you'd like to come a little deeper into this spinal twist. So one more full breath. And then with that next inhale, leading with the head, slowly coming back to center. Gently unwind the legs if you have them crossed. Give those legs a little shake, wiggle. And then same thing on the other side. So maybe that left knee, left foot is just staying on the inside of the extended right leg. Maybe you're crossing it, bringing it on the outside of that right leg. Left fingertips are behind you. Allow yourself to sit up nice and tall. And either give yourself a hug with that right arm, or maybe taking that right elbow on the outside of the left knee, fingertips up or journeying towards the hip. Take an inhale to lengthen. And again, on the exhale, beginning in the core, as if you're rotating or wrapping yourself around the pole, gently beginning to look and twist towards the left. Two more deep breaths here, letting those inhales continue to bring length to the spine, and the exhales to soften through those shoulders, soften into the twist you find yourself in. With your next inhale, leading with the head, slowly unwinding yourself, coming back to center, releasing and unwinding everything through the lower body. Shake out those legs again. And then from here, soles of the feet to the mat, making sure you have space behind you to lie down, hands in the creases behind the knees, and vertebra by vertebra, making your way all the way onto the spine. Gently drawing those knees in towards the chest. Take the hands to the knees. Just slowly begin to guide those knees over to either side of the body, towards the floor. Coming into happy baby here. Just to release through the hips, which can get tight when we sit for so long. Now you can choose to just keep those hands to the knees, just opening up like this. You might even slide those hands down to the shins and just let the weight of the ankles or the shins rest into the hands as you just come into kind of a reclined butterfly or diamond pose. If you want to come more into happy baby, those hands can come to the back of the thighs as you then give space for those legs to come up towards the ceiling. Now stay bent through those knees as you do that. And imagine you're standing on the ceiling with those feet. Maybe the hands come up to the pant legs as you continue to direct those knees towards the floor. Maybe you even have the flexibility to take hold of the in or out step of the foot as you come into full happy baby here. Think about directing that tailbone towards the front of the room. If it feels nice, gentle rock from side to side. Could be good, could be nice. Little massage for the lower back. You're gently rocking from side to side, slowly coming back to stillness and center. Releasing those legs, drawing the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a final hug and a rock from side to side. Once more, coming back to center, soles of the feet to the mat. And as we come into our Shavasana, checking in how you'd like to set up. So that might be constructive rest pose again. In that case, soles of the feet stay to the mat, and those feet just widen to mat distance apart, knees falling inwards towards each other. Maybe you like to extend those legs long to the top corners of the mat. Now, either position through the lower body. Those hands can be by the sides of the body, or maybe you bring the hands to the belly. And as the eyes gently flutter closed in whatever position you find yourself in, just taking that awareness inwards to the belly and the breath. Feeling that gentle rise and fall if the palms are on the belly. Taking nice, slow, deep breaths in and out. With every exhale, Just letting yourself, the back body, settle and melt into the mat beneath you. Letting your next inhale be a deep, nourishing breath in, and a slow, steady exhale. And a few more of these breaths start to bring movement and energy back to the fingers, starting to wiggle them around, moving through the toes, and then the ankles and the wrists, and then the arms and the legs. Maybe coming into a full body stretch, legs extend in one direction, arms overhead alongside the ears in the opposite direction. And drawing those knees in towards the chest. One final hug and rock from side to side. And then letting yourself roll to one side, pressing yourself up to seated. The eyes can stay closed, letting that awareness be inwards just a little bit longer. Comfortable seated position, bringing those hands together at heart center. And as you take another breath in, feeling that spine lengthen, the crown of the head reach up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, softening through those shoulders, softening into the hips and the seat bones. Feeling this gentle core supporting you as you sit nice and tall here, open through the front of the chest, strengthen through the back body and the front body and the core. Taking another full breath here as you remember this feeling of that inner strength. And then remembering it for when you're sitting at your desk the next time. On your next inhale, letting the eyes flutter open. Namaste.